In Homestead, Florida, stands one of this generation's megalithic structures, built by a single man named Ed Leedskalnin. First in Florida City, he relocated the entire castle to Homestead, Florida, where he completed the work. Frequently compared to the pyramids at Giza, the heads of Easter Island, and Stonehenge, we look at Coral Castle. One giant question remains. How did he build this? The only first-hand accounts that we have of other people watching Ed work is only at night, where he has been said to sing to the stones that now make up what he called Rock Gate. Many of these single pieces of rock weigh over 1,000 tons, and the question remains, how did he do this? We explore this question among many other questions about the nature of our reality, hidden technology, mathematics, and the world energy grid. Come along with me on this journey as we look into just how Ed Leedskalnin created Coral Castle. Hello everyone, welcome to the Yissel Missile Productions channel. My name is Steven Yissel, and today we are continuing our deep dive series into Coral Castle, and we are reading the chapter from the Bruce Cathie book today, which covers Coral Castle. Took a little while. It's near the end of the book. I believe we have 3 chapters left. We're going to read 2 of them today. But I hope you're all doing well. I did get news several hours ago that our friend Brenda unfortunately had a stroke. So I'm going to ask everyone right now to join me in prayer for Brenda's recovery. Heavenly Father, Creator, please offer your blessings and protection for our good friend Brenda. May her recovery go smoothly, and please clear up any complications that have caused this for her. In Jesus Christ's name. Okay. Yeah, Lernie. Yeah, I mean, I found out from Abe, so it's in our little circle here. It's kind of weird because, like, wasn't she live last night? It's just wild how that stuff happens. It must have happened overnight or early this morning. But thank you for taking that time right now with me. So, anyways, like I said, we're reading 2 chapters today. Yeah, it's all good, Lernie. Alright, and before we get started, Let's get some music going. But yeah, I don't have details. I just know from what Abe posted. Okay. Alright, and we shouldn't be here for too long today. It should be about an hour or so. So anyone that's reading along with me here, we are on chapter 26, The Diminutive Man of Mystery. Page 232. And this is about Ed. So I'm glad that we have this going here. Finally, we're getting to his content of the book. Alright, chapter 26. The Diminutive Man of Mystery. He was a small, frail man, not more than 100 pounds in weight. He came to the United States in 1912 from near Riga, it's spelled R-I-G-A, in Latvia, where he was born on a farm in the district of Metei, and that's spelled M-E-T-E-I. Almost as though he were making for one particular point on the map, he passed through California, Texas, and Florida. He moved south almost to the tip of the Florida Peninsula, right at the edge of the Everglades. There, at a point where U.S. Highway number 1 now runs, about 25 miles south of Miami, he took up the life of a recluse. His name was Ed Leedskalnin. Until the day of his death, on the 7th of December, 1951, he lived a life of secrecy. He undertook and carried out a colossal building project, the like of which the world has never known. He worked alone, and with simple tools and pulleys. Today, scientists confess they are still baffled, for he moved great stones hewn from coral rock. He hoisted massive blocks, set up fantastic edifices, including an obelisk weighing more than 28 tons, all alone without the aid of machinery. In his later years, the Latvian was to make this claim, quote, "I have discovered the secrets of the pyramids. I have found out how the Egyptians and the ancient builders in Peru, Yucatan, and Asia, with only primitive tools, raised and set in place blocks of stone weighing many tons." End quote. A colonel of the United States Army Engineers, Carroll A. Lake, has written of the wonders that Leedskalnin built. Quote, Leedskalnin proved for all the world to see today that he knew the construction secrets of the ancients. He quarried and moved into place alone and without modern machinery, stones weighing twice the weight of the largest blocks in the Great Pyramid. In all, he cut and placed over 1,000 tons of coral rock. The greatest achievement in all history by one man. Here is one of the great wonders of the world, ranking with the pyramids of Egypt, with Stonehenge in England, with the fabulous Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek near Damascus in Syria, with the great mysteries in stone on Easter Island. End quote. It was natural for this army engineer to associate Coral Castle, as it is now known to thousands of visitors each year, with the wonders of the ancient world which he listed. There is every reason to believe that Baalbek and Giza are positions on this planet where some curious physical conditions prevail. I've also noted an apparent connection between these sites and the energy grid, which encompasses this globe. Stonehenge, too, falls within this grid. No one ever saw Leedskalnin at work when he was engrossed with his constructions in the 1920s. He built a wall of stone slabs, each of several tons, rising to a height of 8 feet around a courtyard. Within this, he erected a 2-storied tower, the ground floor of which became a workshop and storehouse. He used the upper story as his living quarters. But from the simple tools he left behind, some conjectures have been made about his working methods. It appears that he would drive a wire cable several feet into the rock with an iron stake, attaching the other end of the cable to an apparatus that he moved backwards and forwards in a sawing motion until a cut was achieved, reaching the depth of the driven cable. A second cut made in the same manner would then be made at a distance determined by the size of the slab he required. Next, he would cut a trench between the 2 cuts, several feet in depth, and set into it a row of flat chisels. By hammering each in turn, the block would ultimately break free from the bedrock. With the help of a tripod made of logs and a hoist, he would then put a sling around the slab and little by little raise it from the ground by using jacks and wedges. With his own arrangement of pulleys, it is said, plus the use of rollers, he would coax the slab into its final position. But when it comes to the moving of blocks weighing up to 35 tons, this explanation is obviously not good enough. Says one American writer, Vincent H. Gaddis, quote, "What mystifies the engineers is how equipment of this nature and size could possibly be enjoined to support the tremendous weights that Ed raised in the air to high levels or stood upright. There is no doubt that he applied some principle in weightlifting that remains a secret today." End quote. Ed Leedskalnin worked on his project for 25 years. Coral Castle is on a 10-acre site. There is a tower containing 160 tons of coral rock, made from individual blocks weighing 9 tons. Behind the massive walls of the tower are fantastic pieces of furniture and movable objects, including a bed that could be raised to the ceiling. There are rocking chairs made of rock, weighing thousands of pounds, but so delicately balanced that they move at the touch of a finger. Great crescents top walls in the garden, which rise to 20 feet in height. There is a 28.5-ton obelisk reaching for the sky. There is also a Polaris telescope carved from coral rock, rising to 25 feet and weighing nearly 30 tons. There is a circular hole bored through it near the top, within which are wires crossing at right angles. Several feet away is a lower stone with a similar hole and a similar, quote, gun sight, end quote. By lining up the crossed wires in the lower stone with those in the obelisk, a direct sighting of the North Star is obtained. The Latvians' interest in astronomy is further evidenced by representations of the moon and the planets along the rear wall of the courtyard, and also by a unique sundial which tells time within 2 minutes of accuracy all year round. Entering Coral Castle, visitors pass through a swinging gate. Now, today that's not where you enter. There's the gift shop, and then there's an entrance to the right side of the 2-story tower. And the rock gate is actually off limits now, so it's a closed off entrance. There's just like a little cage around it. There's Rock Gate. So where that kid is in the slideshow that's standing in the center frame, behind him is the Rock Gate. And like, you're not allowed to touch it. Although like some photos online I've seen like the fenced off portion of it, but I'm not seeing it here in these pictures. But obviously there's these railings around some of these. Alright, let's continue on. Entering Coral Castle, visitors pass through a swinging gate, a triangular stone block weighing 3 tons. In the center rear wall of the courtyard, there is a 9-ton stone gate so perfectly pivoted that a child can make it swing around. Oh, so maybe that's not the entrance. Because, like, we didn't enter through a triangular stone block weighing 3 tons. Like, that's not how we entered, I don't think. Okay, so I'll reread that last sentence. In the center rear wall of the courtyard, there is a 9-ton stone gate so perfectly pivoted that a child can make it swing around. Leedskalnin's secrets have never been plumbed. When asked directly by visitors how he had created his marvels, his only reply would be to the effect that he was privy to the secrets of the ancient Egyptian pyramid builders. A remarkable man in every aspect, and one too little known outside his adopted Florida. Leedskalnin also undertook studies and experiments in magnetic current, an interest which reminds us of that other mysterious genius who emigrated to America from Europe, Nikola Tesla. That's funny, it's spelled with a Nichole here. I thought it was with a K, not a CH. Leedskalnin developed a number of theories related to the field of magnetism, claiming that they were more accurate than any prevailing ideas on the subject. He published booklets on his studies, which we've read here in this series, at his own expense. So he published booklets on his studies at his own expense. His theory on cosmic force is along the lines of Einstein's unified field theory. In a pamphlet which he published in 1946, he wrote, quote, "The North and South Poles are the cosmic force. They hold together the Earth and everything in it, turning the Earth around on its axis," end quote. And in a newspaper article, he declared, quote, "Every form of existence, whether it be rock, plant, or animal life, has a beginning and an end. But the three things that all matter is constructed from have no beginning and no end. They are the North and South Poles' individual magnets and the neutral particles of matter. These three things are the construction blocks of everything." End quote. It came as no great surprise to me that the site of Coral Castle is mathematically related to the world energy grid, as there are other remarkable structures which, however, date back from ancient times. After a series of calculations, I came to the conclusion that Ed Leedskalnin had not moved on to the Florida site by chance. The initial check I made to ascertain the position of Coral Castle, published in my earlier works, was latitude 25 degrees 28 feet north, longitude 80 degrees 27 feet west, as near as I could pinpoint the position on my maps. I'm actually surprised that Bruce Cathie wrote about this in a book other than this one. This geometric position was extremely close to one that would be ideal for setting up harmonies related to gravity and light harmonics. More recent information gives the position as 25 degrees, 29 feet, 9 inches north, 80 degrees, 26 feet, 8 inches west. So he was off by a foot. That's pretty accurate to me. In my initial publication, I stated that the direct latitude value of the site set up a gravitational harmonic, but further investigation has indicated that a modification of this view is necessary. When the geometric pattern is projected onto a flat plane, as in diagram 20, then the coordinates projected from Coral Castle to the 0 degree and 90 degree longitude lines, where they pass through the equator, yield harmonics related to light and gravity. The angle 0, as shown in the diagram, which we'll look at shortly, is equal to 69.4 degrees, and the square root of the longitudinal distance of 4,826.133 minutes of arc is a value of 69.4, close to the speed of light harmonic reciprocal of 69444. My latest research shows that this harmonic is also related directly with gravitation. The pattern suggests a dimensional relationship between spherical and flat plane geometry. Hey Ivy, good to see you here. Thanks for joining. The fact that Leedskalnin had access to secret knowledge is much more evident in the relationship of Coral Castle to the world energy grid system. Normal latitude and longitude on the Earth's surface is not coincident with latitude and longitude related to the energy grid, due to the fact that the polar positions are offset. In the case of energy grid pole B, the position is 694.4 minutes of arc displaced from the North Geographic Pole on normal longitude 105 degrees west. And in parentheses it says geometrically opposite on normal longitude 75 degrees east in the southern hemisphere. End parentheses. It would appear that zero longitude grid B is coincident with 105 degree longitude, or normal, in the northern hemisphere. This is no doubt confusing to the reader, but a study of the grid polar diagrams should help make this clearer. And I know I'm throwing all these numbers out as we're reading here, but it is what it is. Like, I can't do anything visually with it except for what's in the book here. I now have more modern equipment to work with, and a computer calculation indicated that the direct great circle distance between Coral Castle and grid pole B in the north is 3,246.4847 minutes of arc. It is therefore a simple matter to calculate the grid latitude which passes through the Coral Castle position. Latitude 35 degrees, 53 feet, 30.9 inches. The circumference in minutes of arc, or nautical miles, relative to the grid equator at this parallel of latitude is 17,498.685 minutes. This is equal to 1,049,921.1 seconds of arc relative. If we subtract this value from the circumference around the grid equator, we have 1,296,000 minus 1,049,921.1 equals 246,078.9 seconds of arc difference. If we subtract the difference of 246,078.9 from the circumference, 1,049,921.1, we have 803,842.2 seconds. And it just gives some equations here. 803,842.2 times 60 harmonic equals 48230,532, and the square root equals 6944.8205. A few hundred feet correction in the position of Coral Castle would give the 69444 harmonic exactly. So I wonder why Ed didn't get it exact. Or maybe that was intentional, to not be directly over it. The great circle displacement of Coral Castle from grid longitude 0 at the same grid latitude is just on 22.275 degrees relative. And here we have diagram 20, the geometric position of Coral Castle. Then we also have diagram 21. So Coral Castle's off to the right side, over there. So it actually looks like it sits perfectly mathematically. .275 divided by 60 harmonic equals 0.37125 harmonic. The 37125 harmonic is the reciprocal of the geometric harmonic derived from the unified equation 26936 in recent research. Leedskalnin's remark that he was privy to the secrets of the ancient Egyptian pyramid builders points to another remarkable seeming coincidence. The computed Great Circle distance from the Great Pyramid in Egypt to Coral Castle is 5,650 minutes of arc, or nautical miles. 5,650 minutes is equal to 94.16666 degrees. As we work in 90-degree arcs to calculate most of the geometric harmonics, it is necessary to subtract 90 degrees from 94.16666 degrees to ascertain the harmonic evident in the second sector. And there's a typo on this page. Instead of from, it's form. So 94.16666 minus 90 equals 4.16666 degrees. And 4.1666 divided by 60 equals 0.0694444, or the 694444 harmonic. This, I believe, is sufficient to show that Mr. Leedskalnin knew what he was about when he searched out this area to establish his stone Garden of Eden. He knew secrets that some of our scientists would give their right arm for. At certain positions on the globe, there are localities where the forces of gravity can be manipulated by the application of certain geometric harmonics. Coral Castle, I believe, occupies one of these positions. Very interesting. We already know for certain a little about other areas of gravity abnormality. Many of them exist deep within the oceans. Modern navigational charts show ocean areas where the sea is above sea level, as much as 250 feet or more above normal sea level. Apollo 10 astronauts found abnormal gravity conditions on the moon, causing their frail craft to buck and tumble in totally unpredictable fashion. Wow. I don't think they ever made it. I don't think they made it to the moon, honestly. Where these geometric conditions exist, it is evidently possible for people who have the knowledge to use gravitational forces to construct great buildings of massive material. Stonehenge, the ancient pyramids, the temple at Baalbek, and perhaps the pyramids in Central and South America were the results of a combination of knowledge and gravitational abnormalities. And that's the end of chapter 26. That went a lot faster than I thought it would. But we got one more chapter to do for today. Such a tiny chapter to even... I thought it would be longer, honestly. But it's all good. This next chapter is very short. So chapter 27, Bits and Pieces. Lithium. The Marshall Cavendish book on the atom states, quote, "One isotope of lithium has 3 protons and 3 neurons in its nucleus, giving a mass number of 6. But the atomic weight of lithium is 6.94 because of significant contribution by an isotope with 3 protons and 4 neutrons. That is a mass number of 7. The average of these 2 isotopes is 6.94 rather than exactly 6.5 because there is much more naturally occurring lithium-7 than there is lithium-6. End quote. We can see from this the reason why lithium has become a very important element on the world market. The atomic weight of 6.94 is the harmonic reciprocal of light speed, 144. This makes the element ideal for the construction of extremely efficient batteries. In parentheses, it says the batteries used in the lunar module and other space research vehicles are of the lithium type. And in parentheses. The element is also used in many other types of modern electrical apparatus. Atom bomb tests. In my first 2 books, I pointed out that the harmonic geometrics of the Earth are a necessary factor in the successful detonation of an atomic-type device. Certain points on the Earth must be selected because of their harmonic geometric location. It was shown that the islands of Bikini and Eniwitok, that's spelled Eniwitok, in the Pacific, were used because the latitudes were 695 minutes of arc north of the equator. This gave the scientists perfect positions to set up bomb apparatus tuned to the reciprocal of the speed of light, 694.444 harmonic. Successful detonations devastated the islands, proving that the scientists knew what they were up to. Closer to home, and more recently, the French have been causing ill feelings in the Pacific by the use of Mururoa Atoll. I don't know how to say this. Spelled Mururoa. Mururoa Atoll. Atoll. For their testing program. Why don't they carry them out in France or somewhere close to their own shores is the argument, instead of harassing the friendly peoples of the Pacific. The reason is that they can't, as the proposition is a geometric one. The following may point this fact out once again. In 1973, during all the protests and opposition to the tests, a small news item appeared in the Auckland Sunday Herald on the 7th of October, headed Antarctic Base for N-testing by Gilbert Sedbon. It's spelled Sedbon. Paris, NZPA. And the source is Reuters. Quote, France may use the Antarctic island of Kerguelen. That's spelled Kerguelen. About 2,500 miles southwest of Perth. So that's Australia. As its new nuclear testing base. Work is now proceeding on the island for a possible relocation of France's huge new, quote, world strategy, end quote, base in the Indian Ocean. If the French government decides to switch to underground nuclear tests because of world public opinion over its use of Mururoa Atoll, it is possible that the Antarctic base may be used. The French have already built a space telecommunication station on Kerguelen Island, which will serve as a direct link with their nuclear submarine fleet. End quote. The latitude and longitude of Kerguelen Island. Latitude 49 degrees 30 feet south. Longitude 69 degrees 30 feet east. Latitude 49 degrees 30 feet equals 49.5 degrees. Displacement from the equator equals 49.5 degrees. Displacement from the South Pole equals 40.5 degrees. So the difference is 9 degrees. If we shift the harmonic by division of 6 4 times, then the speed of light reciprocal harmonic 69444 is evident. Grid latitude, which is offset from normal geographic latitude, is 61 degrees 0 feet 0 inches south. If we shift the harmonic by division of 6 2 times, the harmonic 169444 becomes evident, which has relationships with mass and gravity. Longitude 69 degrees 30 feet equals 69.5 feet, and harmonic 695 or 6944 equals reciprocal of the speed of light. It is obvious from the above geometrics that a position chosen near the center of Kerguelen Island would be ideal for the carrying out of atom tests, which correlated with my previous publications and recent findings. Is it necessary to show more evidence? Headline: Auckland Star 1, or Auckland Star from the 1st of August 1974. Headline reads: Scientists find new element. Moscow, Wednesday. Soviet scientists working at the Nuclear Research Institute at Dubna have discovered a new element with the atomic number of 106, TASS reported today. The news agency said that the scientists bombarded lead nuclei with accelerated ions of chromium-54 to produce the new element, which divided in radioactive decay in less than 1/100th of a second. 1/100th of a second. The search for new elements is carried on mainly as a test of scientific theory and has little practical value. The elements are created in very small amounts and often have an extremely short lifespan before radioactive breakup. But according to scientists, there is a theoretical possibility that some elements with higher atomic numbers may be more stable and of value. For example, as improved sources of neutrons for use in atomic fission. So that's the end of that headline there, or that article. What an idiotic statement to make, that the search for new elements of higher atomic number is of little practical value. The search for these elements is of the utmost importance for the advancement of science. It is possible that the heavier elements will be found deep down towards the center of the Earth when our technology is advanced enough for us to reach for them. There's another headline from Auckland Herald from the 16th of October, 1975. Heavy holes in space. An American astronomer has produced rare visual evidence of the presence deep in space of a, quote, black hole, end quote. A mysterious object where time and space are distorted. Black holes, whose existence is largely theoretical, are stars collapsing under intense gravitational forces, sucking in nearby material and emitting powerful X-ray pulses. The black hole is thought to be between 16 and 32 kilometers across, but it is so compressed that a pinhead of its material would weigh millions of tons. That's the end of the article. Excerpt. Unless that's the full article. Could it be that the so-called black holes are the gateways between the universe and the anti-universe? The raw material that is necessary for the creation of matter may pass back and forth through small areas of space such as this in a pendulum-type motion to alternately form the universe and anti-universe. The action would take place, of course, over millions of years in terms of human time. A UFO which hovered over the radio masts of Mount Victoria, Wellington, on the 31st of May, 1965. This object was seen by dozens of witnesses in the vicinity of the airport and as far away as the Central City area. The weather on this particular day was filthy and flying conditions were minimal. However, I had been able to take off from Wellington Airport less than half an hour before the UFO appeared. The object was first sighted about 3:55 p.m. and was observed for over half an hour. It was first seen to descend from the clouds over Mount Victoria. It was generally oval in shape, but appeared to change in outline quite rapidly, as if it were tumbling. It hovered over the northern face of Mount Victoria for about 10 minutes, then rose into a low stratus cloud layer covering Wellington Harbor. It appeared almost immediately farther north over Point Jerningham, the northern part of Evans Bay. Then shortly after this, it was seen again over Mount Victoria. It was approximately 20 feet in width or diameter and grayish-white in color. It was seen by experienced personnel in the airport control tower and by numerous witnesses around Wellington City. I understand that at least 6 people in Broadcasting House, Bowen Street, which is about 2 miles distant, also saw this strange object. A report was given on the television news, but so far as I know, the newspapers were silent and the whole affair was quietly forgotten. During the last 9 months, a football-shaped UFO has been seen on many occasions in the Wellington area, and this could very well be the same one seen over Mount Victoria. I anticipate it will continue to be seen until its job is done. And now a report from the Wellington Evening Post, dated Friday, the 21st of May, 1976. Title is Post Office Workers Elevated View of UFO. And here's the article. An unidentified flying object, or UFO, was reported this morning by post office workers who say they watched it for about 5 minutes from their cafeteria on the 12th floor of post office headquarters in Waterloo Quay. Quote, "We stood at the window and watched for about 5 minutes. The object appeared as a dark mass at first, then changed shape and kept disappearing and reappearing. Basically, it was oval in shape and hovered above Mount Cow to the left of the transmitter, the TV transmitting mast. It seemed to vary in size at first, then steadied, and from then appeared as a thick mass." End quote. And that was said by a spokesman for 12 people. And that's the end of that article. So there we have two similar reports, 11 years apart, 31st of May, 1965 to the 21st of May, 1976. Has it completed its job yet, or can we expect another visit? And with that is the end of chapter 27. So we did learn some new things today. Again, this diagram here, I think, is going to be important going forward, if we were to come back to this at any point in the future. It's not wanting to focus again. There we go. All right. So Ed knew what he was doing. Ed knew exactly where he wanted to go. Although we do know he moved his original location over to Homestead. So he was in Florida City at first and then went to Homestead. So for the rest of this book, okay, we have 2 more chapters left. So it seems. Hold on. Yep. Got 11 pages left for this book. So next week we'll read chapter 28, which is literally 3 pages with a diagram and a photocopy. Coincidental pattern of oil wells. And then chapter 29, Wake Up, Earth. So Bruce Cathie's very well put together in terms of his research. And like I said last week, I did find a lot of video of Bruce Cathie, and I do want to show clips here eventually of him talking about this grid system. But next week should be our last show on this book, and then we'll be moving into the David Hatcher Childers book, Anti-Gravity and the World Grid. And those two, this book and the Anti-Gravity and the World Grid book, these two were recommended readings from the first book we read, which I picked up from the Coral Castle gift shop. And from there, I looked up all of these books. I got them all. I own them now. And then there's a few other books beyond that. But we're going to keep it simple here for now with finishing up this Bruce Cathie book, The Energy Grid. And then we'll read through the entirety of the Childress book. And where we go from there, it's undecided as of now. But I'm sure we'll look in. I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but I wouldn't be surprised if I read all of these books here. Okay. I thought Bruce Cathie would have more to say about Ed, but I guess that's just is what it is. So that's going to do it for today, guys. I appreciate you being here. Again, if you haven't heard about Brenda, she apparently had a stroke. I don't know if it was today or late last night. I want to say it was sometime in the morning. But let's wish her well on the road to recovery. And keep her in your prayers. Because Brenda's a good person. She doesn't deserve all of this health issues that she has. So Brenda, if you're watching this later, make sure you get plenty of rest. Don't stress yourself out too much. Keep your doggies close to you. And hopefully we'll hear good news from Brenda soon. But other than that, Thursday we'll have the Bermuda Triangle deep dive. We are pretty far along with that series as well. And it's somewhat tied to this series, but I'm glad I'm keeping them separate. They do overlap multiple times. But it's good to have it compartmentalized. This series will be focusing a lot on the anti-gravity and the energy grid. And then the Bermuda Triangle series is more account driven, like incidents and just witness perspectives. It's a lot to take in, but then it also looks into the ancient cities with the stone blocks and everything, which we've been covering the past several weeks now. And that's about it for now. If you haven't watched Sunday's show, go ahead and catch up on that. And we'll have another Let's Talk, hopefully this upcoming Sunday. But that'll do it for today. Keep healthy. Stay prayed up. And until the next one. Class dismissed.